Hello everyone, welcome back to online English classes. This is Jagdish. Today I am going to teach you one of the most important parts of speech. Well, if I ask you which is the most important parts of speech in English, every one of you would definitely say verbs. Yes, verbs are one of the most important parts of speech in English language, and that is for two reasons. One, every sentence in English must have a verb. You can't have sentences without a verb in English. And second, verbs represent tenses. They represent the time of action. That is the reason why verbs are the most important parts of speech in English. Verbs are the most important words in English. Well, let's now understand what is a verb. What is a verb? Verb is an action word. Verb is an action word. Verb is a word used to denote an action in a sentence. Let's understand the verb more clearly. A verb tells us what a person or thing does. What a person or thing does in a sentence. As in the example, John speaks. So I have told you a verb tells us what a person or thing does in a sentence. What a person does in a sentence? Here we have a subject, John. So what this person does? John speaks. So here speaks, the word speak is a verb and it shows the action. It shows the action done by this subject. So a verb tells us what a person does in a sentence. Next, mobile rings. Mobile rings. What a thing does. So here mobile is a subject, it's a thing. So what it does, mobile rings. So here rings, the word ring is the root word for this verb and rings is a verb and it shows the action. So first thing, a verb tells us what a person or thing does in a sentence. John speaks and mobile rings. And a verb also tells us what is done to a person, what is done to a person or thing. It also tells us that what is done to a person or thing. As in the example, here what a person does. Here what is done to a person. Again, let us take the same person. John is scolded. John is scolded. Here what is done to this particular subject? He is scolded by someone. He is scolded by somebody else. And next, the window is broken. The window is broken. The window is broken. Another example for this. What has happened to this window? The window is broken. And next, a verb also tells us that what a person or thing is. What a person or thing is in a sentence, which means this talks about the state of being. For example, the horse is dead. So here the horse is dead is the verb and this talks about the state of being, the present condition or the present status of this particular animal, horse. Or I feel sorry. Another example. So what a person or thing is. I have already told you in this case these verbs talk about the present condition or the situation or the state of being of some persons or things. So here I is the subject, I feel sorry. So what is being done inside this person? That is the present status. the present status, what is happening, or how a thing has been kept, or how is it. So a verb tells us that what a person or thing does, what is done to a person or thing, and what a person or thing is. See, if I say I am a teacher, here I am talking about my position, my designation. So this is the state of being. So I am talking about my status. So a verb tells us about the action done by the subject, what is done to a person or thing, and what the person or thing is in a sentence. So I hope you have understood what is a verb. Let's now talk about the different types of verbs. Here, verbs are mainly divided into two parts. One is principal verbs or main verbs. So here, principal verbs are also called main verbs. Second type of verb is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs, or auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. Helping verbs. Verbs have been divided into principal verbs and auxiliary verbs based on their function. Based on the function they do or based on their role, they have been divided into two types. Let's now take the first one, principal verb, and discuss more about principal verbs. So, let me tell you what is a principal verb or a main verb. Principal verb or a main verb occurs within the sentence and they complete the action on their own. So, main verbs, they don't take the help of any other verbs to complete the action. So, that is the reason why those verbs are called principal verbs or main verbs. Let's now take the examples for main verbs. Here, I have written a few examples for main verbs. Let us first read the sentences. First one, I walk for 1 hour daily. Usually, in the formation of sentences, we must have a subject, which is a noun, plus verb, that action word, and an object that talks about the subject. So here in the first example, you have I as a subject. Here I is the subject and walk is a verb, and for 1 hour daily is an object. As I told you, a main verb occurs within the sentence. So here you can see walk. We have used this word in this sentence. It occurs within the sentence and this completes the action on its own. We have not used any other verbs in the first sentence. You have only one verb, that is walk. And this shows the action done by this subject, I. So, I walk for 1 hour daily, and this shows the physical action of this subject. So, since it completes the action on its own, since it has not taken the help of any other verbs in this sentence, walk is a principal verb or a main verb. We also call it as an ordinary verb. So, in the second sentence, he speaks the truth. Here, speak is the root word, is the ordinary verb here. Speak. Here, this speak shows the action of this subject, he. Since he is a third person subject, third person singular subject, we have added yes to this particular verb. So, he speaks the truth. Even here, this verb speak has not taken the help of any other verbs to complete the action. So, speak is a verb and it is a main verb. And next, so here ship is the subject, sank is a verb, and rapidly, it is not an object. Here in this sentence, in the third example, we don't have any object, but we have a subject and a verb. So here, rapidly is an adverb. So here we don't have any object in this sentence. So this sank, if you just see, the word sank is the past form of the word sink. So sink is used in the base form, that means present tense, and sank is used in the past tense, and sunk, sink, sank, sunk. Sunk is used as past participle form of this word sink. let us go to the next example. The horse kicked the man. So here the horse is the subject and kicked is the verb and the man is an object. So here kicked is the only verb that is used in this sentence. Since we don't have any other verb here in this sentence, kicked is the main verb. So similarly, even in the last example, she cooked dinner, we have only one verb. So she is the subject, cooked is the verb and dinner is the object. Dinner is the object. So since cooked is the only verb in this sentence, it is also a principal verb or a main verb. So we have studied what is a main verb and we have also seen a few examples for main verbs. Let's now see the different principal parts of verbs. So there are 5 principal parts of verbs. They are the base form, and the second one is third person singular form, and the next one is past form and past participle form. The last one is present participle form. These are the 5 principal parts of verbs. First one is base form, second one third person singular form and past form, past participle form, and the last one present participle form. Let's understand these principal parts of verbs with example. I'll just take a verb walk. The verb that I have taken here, walk, is a regular verb. So we'll see the difference between regular and irregular verbs later. Let's first see principal parts of verbs. So here the verb that I have taken, walk, is a regular verb and this verb walk is in base form. So what is a base form of verb or base form of word? The root word, okay, the ordinary verb that I have taken. I have not changed the form of this verb. This is the base form or the root word. And in third person singular form, if I take the same word, it becomes walks. When it comes to third person singular form, the word walk becomes walks. You may ask why? Because when a main verb is used with third person singular subjects, it takes yes or es. Some main verbs take yes and some other verbs, main verbs, take es form. So what are the third person singular subjects? So third person singular subjects are he, she, it. He, she, it are the third person singular subjects. When a verb, any main verb for that matter, when it is used along with third person singular verbs, singular subjects, it takes yes or es. Yes or es. So we have to add yes or es to a particular verb when it is used with third person singular subjects only in the simple present tense. So those principal verbs, when they are used with third person singular subjects, they take yes or es only in the simple present tense. Only in the simple present tense. So next is past form. So what is the past form of this verb walk? I have already told you the word walk is a regular verb and here the walk in the past tense, it takes ed and becomes walked. Okay, what is the past form of this verb? Walked. And next, past participle form, and it is same even in the past participle form, it retains the ed and it is walked. So the last one is present participle form. So what is present participle form? Present participle form is ing form of the verb. So when main verbs are used in continuous tense, they take ing form. They take ing form. We just have to add ing to main verbs when they are used in continuous form, like present continuous, past continuous or future continuous. When they are used in the continuous forms, we have to add ing to the particular verb or to the base form of the verb. So here, what is the present participle form of this verb walk? Is walking. So walking is the present participle form of this root word or base form of the verb walk. So these are the only 5 forms that a verb can take. So we have taken only a verb and we have seen the different forms of a particular verb. Let's now see the sentence examples. So for the first one, if I say I walk, so for the first one, if I say I walk to work, I walk to work. So this sentence is written in the simple present tense. So here you have the base form of the verb walk. And next, third person singular form. So I have already told that we have to add yes to the main verb when it is used with third person singular subjects. So what are the third person singular subjects? He, she, it. So if I take he or she, then it becomes he or she walks to work. He or she walks to work. And this is how we have to form sentences. And this sentence, she walks to work, is written in the simple present tense. Next, past form. We just have to change this verb into past. This is I walked to work. I walked to work. So here the verb has taken ed form when it is changed into past. So next is past participle form. So I have already told you, even in the past participle form, it is used as same as past form. Even in the past tense you have walked, and even in the past participle you have the same, walked. It remains the same as it is used in the past form. But when this verb is used in a sentence, it is preceded by have form of auxiliary verb. It should be preceded by have form of auxiliary verb. So why? Because the sentence you are going to construct using the past participle form of verb walked is in the perfect tense. Whenever the sentence is written in perfect tense, have form of auxiliary verb should be used. Like I had walked to work. I had walked to work. Since it is past participle form, I have used had. The verb walked is preceded by had. But whenever you construct sentences in present perfect tenses, the main verbs should be preceded by have or has, only in present perfect tense. But in the past perfect, main verb should be preceded by had. So the last one is present participle form. I have already told you present participle form of verbs are ing form of the verbs. ing form of verbs. So these ing form of verbs are used in continuous tenses. Like I am walking to work. Here in this sentence, I am walking to work. This sentence is written in present continuous tense. The same sentence can also be written in past continuous, like I was walking to work. So in this way, ing form of the verbs are used in continuous tenses. So here I have given you 5 principal parts of verbs. So though you have 5 principal parts of verbs here, only 3 of them are considered to be very important. So what are those? First one, base form and past tense and past participle form. So base form, past form and past participle form of verbs are very important, because when it comes to the matter of constructing sentences, these three forms of verbs are very important, and we should study more and more number of verbs of these forms in order to enhance our vocabulary. Let me now give you more examples for these three important forms of verbs: base form, past form and past participle form. So let's now see how base form of verbs, how main verbs or ordinary verbs are going to change their form in past and past participle form. So let's take the simple one, the verb go. Go, and when it comes to the past tense, it becomes went, and in past participle it is gone. Go, went, gone. And do in the base form, did in the past tense and done in the past participle form. And next, take speak. Speak in the base form, spoke in past tense and spoken in the past participle form. Tell in the base form, told in the past tense, again told even in the past participle form. And next is cut. So when it comes to the usage of this particular word or verb cut, many of us will often do mistakes because we add ed form to this particular verb. But here we are not supposed to use ed form, or we are not supposed to add ed to this particular verb, because it is same in all the three forms. It is cut in the base form, even when it comes to the past form it is cut, even in the past participle form it is cut. In the same way, the verb hurt, past tense hurt, and even here it is hurt. And read, read and read. Next, see, saw, seen. So the list of regular and irregular verbs have been given in your workbook. If you just refer your workbook, you will come to know the different forms of verbs. Here you can notice that I have given both regular verbs and irregular verbs. If you just see the first verb, go, it is different in all the three forms. In base form it is go, in past tense it has become went, and in past participle form it is used as gone. When it comes to this particular word hurt, it is used same in all the three forms. But when it comes to tell, it is tell in the base form, told in past and past participle form. So now you may ask, you may have a doubt, what is the difference between regular and irregular verbs? So how can we identify, or how can we notice this is the regular verb or this is irregular verb? So I will tell you the difference between the regular and irregular verbs in the next session. Let me conclude my session here. In the next session, we'll see more about regular and irregular verbs and the difference between ing form of verbs and their gerunds, and one more type of verb, that is auxiliary verb.